Holiday plants like poinsettias are bright and festive, but they can be hard to care for. Well, the Virginia Cooperative Extension has got you covered. Today on Living Local, we welcome Adria Bordas, a horticulture extension agent with the Virginia Cooperative Extension, to tell us how to care for our holiday plants. Good morning.
Thank you so much for having me today.
So well, let me tell you, I love receiving these as gifts. I love using them in our home, even here decorating on the set at the station. But they can be some tricky little fellows to take care of. So let's start with temperature. I know that with the temperature, we need to keep these plants vibrant. It makes a big difference. So what temperature do they like the best?
Well, it kind of starts with even bringing the plant home because they don't like some of the cold temperatures that we've been having when you're transporting that plant from the store to your house. So the minute you buy that plant, know that you're going to go home after that visit to the store. You're not going to go to other stores shopping. So take it home, and that's the first thing you bring inside because these plants do not like temperatures below 50 degrees.
All right, so not a smart idea to leave them in your car overnight.
Right, that's right.
And
don't leave them on the front porch or in a screened-in porch. You want to keep it to about 65 to 70 degrees. Colder than 60 degrees is really going to degrade the quality of the plant. And anything higher than, say, 75 degrees, really warm, will also really stress the plant out. These are native plants to Mexico, so they're kind of tropical-esque plants, so you got to treat them as such.
It's interesting because I have family in Florida, and I can remember seeing them planted in front yards of people's homes in Florida. But of course, it's much warmer conditions in Florida than it is here in Southwest and Central Virginia. All right, let's talk about watering the plants because that's a downfall for me. I never know exactly how often to water my plants. So how often do the poinsettias like to get a drink of water?
Well, I would say the first few days you have it in the house, let it get adjusted to the house and really check on it each day. Kind of poke your finger in the soil, right in the pot, and see if it's dry. If it's moist, don't water it. But once it dries out, you want to water it. And it's a matter of really checking on it each day in between as you first purchase it. Then once you have an idea of how long it takes for it to consume the water that you give it and it dries out, then continue. You want it to dry out in between waterings. And that's the whole idea, is that you don't want it sitting in a puddle of water because these little kind of plastic sleeves will hold water and it'll just be sitting in a little goopy puddle of water.
Gotcha.
So you kind of have to watch out, and it's a little bit of finessing in the beginning, but once you have it, I'm sure it'll be okay.
All right, good to know. And then placement in our homes, where's a good place to put them? Like near where it's, well, they like warmer temperatures, near a vent? What should we do? How do we care for them in the dead of winter?
Well, I mean, the best idea is so that it gets about 6 hours of sunlight or more a day. If you have a nice sunny spot and near a window, that would be perfect. The idea too is, you mentioned something by a vent. Don't put it near somewhere where there is a draft or somewhere where you're going to get a cold gust of air from an open door. A lot of people might put these on their fireplace area. That heat would be really too warm for these plants.
All right, so although they come from tropical temperatures, they don't like it too hot. What do you suggest what we do with them after the holiday season is over? How do we discard the plant? I like to keep mine alive as long as possible, to be honest.
That's right. Well, I mean, what's so funny is what you mentioned is these are kind of like Goldilocks, they're kind of like one of those things where just has to be perfect. Kind of not too cold, not too hot, not too wet, not too dry. And the same idea, if you want to keep them going from the Christmas season till the next following season, most of the time, this nice red leaves will fade to the green leaves. You'll lose these red leaves. And what the growers do is they create a photo period where there's a solid darkness period and a light period that causes these leaves, these bracts, to change color. So that is sometimes a disappointment that people have if they want to keep the plant. that those leaves eventually, those bracts eventually turn a different color. However, if you can compost them, if sometimes they dry out or they just don't make it. The commercially grown ones are meant to be kind of something for the holidays, but there are a lot of people who eventually get them going. They might put them in a dark closet during September to force those leaves to turn red.
I recently heard a friend of mine tell me that they do that, which I was like, who knew? I was always impressed with people who can keep them past January, but there are definitely tricks. In fact, if you want to know some tips of how you can care for your holiday plants, you can contact the Virginia Cooperative Extension helpline at 703-324-8556. Great tips. And matter of fact, now will show you guys the bad part of this poor poinsettia who's been through it. So don't beat up on your poor poinsettia. Cut these parts off and keep it healthy and pretty. Thank you so much for helping us out today.
Thank you so much. Merry Christmas.
Merry
and I
Christmas.
hope you have a Happy New Year.
Thanks to you as well.